Welcome to the English Podcast.
For listening and speaking.
Picture this. You're standing in Tokyo Station at rush hour, surrounded by millions of commuters, and you have absolutely no idea where you're going.
The announcements are in rapid Japanese, the signs might as well be hieroglyphics, and that train you just missed? It was probably the last one for 20 minutes.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily and welcome back to English Podcast for Listening and Speaking. That nightmare scenario, it happened to me in real life.
And I'm Brian. Emily's dramatic introduction aside, we've all been there, standing confused in a foreign transit system, feeling like Alice down the rabbit hole.
Dramatic? Brian, I was genuinely terrified. But that experience taught me something incredible about language learning and travel confidence.
Today, we're diving deep into navigating public transportation while learning English. We'll cover everything from buying tickets to handling emergencies.
And we're not just talking theory here. We'll practice real conversations, role-play sticky situations, and give you confidence to tackle any transit system anywhere.
Now, Emily mentioned Tokyo Station, but public transit anxiety is universal. Whether you're in London's Underground, New York subway, or Berlin's U-Bahn, the feeling's the same.
Absolutely. But here's what's fascinating about transit systems. They're like mini language laboratories. Think about it. You're forced to read signs, ask questions, interact with strangers.
That's actually brilliant. You're learning survival English in real time. No textbook can replicate the pressure and motivation of needing to catch the right train.
Exactly. So before we jump into the nitty-gritty, let me ask our listeners something. When you think about using public transport in English, what scares you most?
Is it not understanding announcements? Getting lost? Asking for help? Or maybe it's that moment when someone asks you for directions and you freeze up completely?
Oh, that last one hits hard. Picture this scenario. You're finally feeling confident on the London Underground. Then a tourist approaches you and asks, "Excuse me, how do I get to Westminster?"
And suddenly you're the expert. That moment when you realize you've gone from confused newcomer to someone who can actually help others navigate the system.
It's such a confidence booster. But let's be honest, different transit systems have completely different personalities. New York subway is loud, chaotic, but surprisingly straightforward.
Meanwhile, Tokyo's system is incredibly efficient, but can be overwhelming with its sheer complexity. 15 different train companies, multiple levels, color-coded everything.
And then there's London, where mind the gap becomes your daily mantra, and you learn that the Northern Line has two branches that go completely different directions.
Don't even get me started on European systems like Berlin or Paris. Every country has different ticket validation rules, different etiquette, different ways of saying, "This train terminates here."
But here's what I love about this challenge. Every transit system teaches you something unique about communication, culture, and confidence building.
That's what we're exploring today. We'll start with the absolute basics: ticket machines, payment methods, different types of passes and cards.
Then we'll tackle maps and transfers, how to read route diagrams, plan your journey, and navigate those confusing interchange stations where 5 different lines meet.
We'll dive deep into platform etiquette and safety. Different cultures have completely different rules about boarding, standing, and seat priorities.
And because things always go wrong, we'll prepare you for delays, strikes, service changes, and those moments when you're completely and utterly lost.
Plus, we'll have a comprehensive grammar and phrase workshop. All those essential questions and responses you need for confident transit navigation.
And we'll end with some incredible success stories from listeners who've conquered their transit fears and discovered the freedom that comes with confident travel.
Before we dive in, let me share something personal. My first time using the London Underground, I spent 40 minutes going in circles because I didn't understand the difference between eastbound and westbound.
Oh no, but that's exactly why we're here. Those embarrassing moments become learning opportunities. They become the stories that help other travelers avoid the same mistakes.
Exactly. And here's something interesting. Public transportation vocabulary is actually quite standardized internationally. Once you learn these terms, they work almost everywhere.
That's so true. Words like platform, transfer, express, and local are universal. Master these, and you're equipped for transit systems worldwide.
So, are you ready to transform from a confused tourist into a confident commuter? Let's start with the very first challenge everyone faces. Getting that ticket?
All right, tickets and payment systems. This is where many people's public transit anxiety begins. You approach that machine, and suddenly you're facing 15 different options in a language you're still learning.
And there's always a line of impatient commuters behind you, checking their watches while you try to figure out the difference between a day pass and a weekly pass.
The pressure is real. But let's break this down systematically. First, let's talk about the different types of tickets and passes you'll encounter in most major cities.
Single journey tickets are your basic option. In New York, it's a subway ride. In London, it's a tube journey. These usually cover one trip from point A to point B.
Then you have day passes, which are perfect for tourists. Unlimited travel within a certain zone or time period. Great value if you're planning multiple trips.
Weekly and monthly passes are for longer stays or residents. These often come with additional benefits like discounted transfers to buses or other transport modes.
Now, let's practice some essential conversations. Emily, let's role play. You're approaching a ticket machine in London, and I'm a helpful local who notices you look confused.
Excuse me, do you need help with the machine?
Oh yes, please. I'm trying to get to Westminster, but I'm not sure which ticket to buy. Is a single journey enough, or should I get a day pass?
Well, are you planning to make other trips today? If you're doing any sightseeing, a day pass will definitely save you money. Westminster is in Zone 1, so you'd need a Zone 1 to 2 travel card.
That makes sense. How much is the day pass compared to individual journeys? And do I need exact change for this machine?
The day pass is about £12, while single journeys are around $2.50 each. This machine takes cards, contactless, or cash. It gives change, so don't worry about exact money.
Perfect. And one more question. Do I need to tap this card when I exit, or just when I enter the system?
In London, you tap in and tap out. The barriers won't let you through without tapping, and you might get a penalty fare if you forget to tap out.
Thank you so much. You've saved me from making expensive mistakes.
That conversation covered so many essential phrases. Which ticket should I buy? Do I need exact change? Do I tap in and out? These questions work in almost any city.
Absolutely. Now let's try a different scenario. Brian, you're at a New York subway station, trying to top up your Metro card, and I'm working at the information booth.
Hi, I'm having trouble with the MetroCard machine. I want to add money to my existing card, but it keeps rejecting it.
Let me see that card. Oh, this is damaged. See how the magnetic strip is scratched? You'll need a replacement. I can transfer your remaining balance to a new card.
How much does a replacement cost? And how long will the transfer take? I don't want to miss my train.
Replacement cards are $1, and the balance transfer is instant. I just need to scan both cards. How much were you planning to add today?
I wanted to add $20. And while I'm here, can you explain the difference between pay per ride and unlimited monthly? I'm here for 3 weeks.
For 3 weeks, I'd recommend pay per ride unless you're taking more than 2 trips per day. The monthly unlimited is great for regular commuters, but it might not pay off for visitors.
That's helpful advice. Can I use this same card for buses? Or do I need separate tickets?
Same card works for both subway and buses. You get free transfers between them within 2 hours, so you can hop from train to bus without extra charges.
Excellent. Here's your new card with the transferred balance plus the $20. You're all set.
Thank you so much for your help. You've made this so much easier than I expected.
Notice how that conversation introduced technical terms like magnetic strip, balance transfer, and pay per ride. These are specific to payment systems but very useful.
And it covered a crucial cultural point. In many cities, asking booth attendants or information desk staff is perfectly normal. They're there to help, especially with payment issues.
Now let's tackle a completely different payment culture. Emily, let's say you're in Berlin, trying to understand their honor system. I'll play a fellow passenger who notices you looking confused.
Excuse me, I bought this ticket, but I don't see anywhere to scan it or validate it. Am I missing something? Everyone just seems to walk onto the trains.
Ah, you need to validate it in one of those machines? See the yellow boxes on the platform? You stamp your ticket there before boarding. It's an honor system, but they do check.
What happens if ticket inspectors catch someone without a valid ticket? And how often do they actually check?
The fine is €60, and they check more often than you'd think. They usually work in teams, and can check entire train cars quickly. Not worth the risk.
Good to know. Is this the same system for buses and trams, or do they have different validation methods?
Same principle, but buses and trams have validation machines inside the vehicle. You stamp your ticket as soon as you board. Same penalty if you forget.
These cultural differences are fascinating. Honor systems versus turnstile barriers versus contactless tapping. Each city has evolved its own approach to fare collection.
And understanding these systems isn't just about saving money. It's about respecting local customs and avoiding those awkward moments with authority figures when you don't speak the language fluently.
Exactly. Let's do one more payment scenario. This time, let's practice dealing with a broken ticket machine. Brian, you'll be the frustrated traveler, and I'll be someone trying to help.
This is so frustrating. I've been trying to buy a ticket for 10 minutes. This machine took my money but didn't give me a ticket, and now it won't give me my change back.
Oh no, that happens sometimes. Did you try pressing the refund button? Sometimes you have to hold it down for a few seconds. If that doesn't work, there's a phone number on the machine for technical support.
I tried the refund button, but nothing happened. And I need to catch this train. Is there another machine nearby? Or can I buy tickets on the train?
There's another machine by the main entrance, but it's quite a walk. On this line, conductors do sell tickets on board, but there's usually a small surcharge for that convenience.
I think I'll try the conductor then. How do I explain what happened with this machine if they ask why I don't have a ticket?
Just explain honestly. Say, the ticket machine kept my money but didn't issue a ticket. Most conductors deal with machine problems regularly, so they'll understand.
Should I keep the receipt from the broken transaction as proof? And is there a way to get my original money refunded later?
Definitely keep the receipt. You can usually claim refunds at the main station office. They have a lost money procedure for broken machines. Take a photo of the machine number too.
You're a lifesaver. Thank you for taking the time to help a confused tourist.
That scenario teaches something crucial. Technical problems happen everywhere, and knowing how to explain the situation clearly can save you money and stress.
And it shows the importance of keeping receipts and documentation. Transit systems might seem impersonal, but there are usually procedures to help passengers when things go wrong.
Before we move on to maps and routes, let me ask our listeners this. What payment method makes you most nervous when traveling? Is it figuring out contactless payments, calculating correct change, or navigating those complex ticket machines?
Whatever your answer, remember that most transit systems are designed to be user-friendly. They want your money, so they make it as easy as possible to give it to them.
Now that we've conquered the ticket machines, let's tackle what might be even scarier. Those colorful, complex maps that look like abstract art but somehow represent actual train routes.
Transit maps are fascinating psychological puzzles. They're not geographically accurate. They're simplified diagrams designed to show connections rather than actual distances or directions.
Which can be incredibly confusing for newcomers. You look at the London Tube map and think Covent Garden and Leicester Square are miles apart, when actually they're a 2-minute walk from each other.
Or you plan a route with 3 transfers that look simple on the map, but in reality involves walking through underground passages for 15 minutes at each interchange.
Let's start with basic map reading skills. First, identify your starting point and destination. Then, trace possible routes between them. Most systems use different colors for different lines.
Color coding is universal, but the names vary. In New York, it's subway lines with numbers and letters. In London, there are tube lines with names like Central, Piccadilly, or Northern.
Let's practice map reading with a realistic scenario. Brian, I'm at King's Cross Station in London, trying to get to Camden Town. Can you walk me through reading the map?
All right. First, find King's Cross Street Pancras on the map. You'll see it's a major interchange with several colored lines passing through it. Can you identify which lines serve that station?
Let me see. I can see the blue line, which is the Piccadilly line, the yellow circle line, the red Central line, and what looks like a black line. Is that the Northern line?
Exactly. The Northern line is black. Now, look for Camden Town on the map. Follow the Northern line north from King's Cross. How many stops do you count between them?
I see Camden Town marked in bold, and counting the stops. King's Cross, then Euston, then Mornington Crescent, then Camden Town. So 3 stops total?
Perfect. And here's a crucial detail. Notice that the Northern line splits into 2 branches further north. Make sure you're taking the right branch. Camden is on the Edgware branch, not the High Barnet branch.
How would I know which branch I'm on when the train arrives? Are there signs on the train itself, or do I need to listen to announcements?
Great question. The front of the train shows the final destination, so you'd look for a train showing Edgware or High Barnet. Platform signs also indicate which branch each train serves.
And if I accidentally take the wrong branch, is there an easy way to correct my mistake without paying extra?
You'd get off at the next mutual stop and change trains. In this case, you might go to Kentish Town and take the correct branch train back toward Camden. No extra charge within the valid zones.
That's such valuable practical information. Now let's try a more complex journey. I want to go from Brooklyn Bridge in New York to Times Square. This will involve a transfer.
Looking at the New York subway map, Brooklyn Bridge is served by the 4, 5, and 6 trains. Times Square is a major hub with multiple lines. What's the most direct route you can find?
I can take the 6 train from Brooklyn Bridge North to Union Square, then transfer to the N, Q, R, or W train west to Times Square. Is that right?
That works, but there's actually a more direct route. You could take the 4 or 5 express train north to 14th Street Union Square, then transfer to the N, Q, R, or W. The express saves time.
What's the difference between local and express trains? I see different symbols on the map, but I'm not sure what they mean.
Express trains skip certain stops to move faster over longer distances. Local trains stop at every station. Express stops are marked with white circles, local stops with black circles.
So if I'm at Brooklyn Bridge and I see a 4 express train and a 6 local train, I should take the 4 to get to Union Square faster?
Exactly. But always double-check that your destination is an express stop. If you need a local-only stop, you'll have to take the local train or transfer from express to local.
This is getting complex. Let's practice asking for directions when the map becomes overwhelming. Brian, you're a local New Yorker, and I'm completely lost at Grand Central.
Excuse me, I'm trying to get to Coney Island, but this map is really confusing. Can you help me figure out which train to take?
Sure. Coney Island is at the end of several lines, but from Grand Central, you'll want to take the 4, 5, or 6 trains south to Union Square, then transfer to the N or Q train. That'll take you straight to Coney Island.
How long will that journey take? And do both transfers happen at the same station, or will I need to walk between different platforms?
The whole trip takes about an hour. At Union Square, you'll need to walk through the station to get to the N and Q platforms. Just follow the signs for Brooklyn or Coney Island.
Is there a way to avoid the transfer? Or is this the most direct route from Grand Central to Coney Island?
This is the most straightforward route. You could take other combinations, but they'd involve more transfers or longer walking distances. Stick with this plan.
One more question. If I get confused during the journey, are there information desks at major stations, or should I ask other passengers?
Both. Major stations like Union Square have information booths, but asking fellow passengers is totally normal. Most New Yorkers are helpful if you're polite and direct.
Thank you so much. You've made this journey seem much less intimidating.
That conversation shows how asking for directions is an art form. Notice the specific questions? How long will it take? Do I need to walk between platforms? Is this the most direct route?
And the local person gave practical advice, not just route information. Follow the signs for Brooklyn is much more useful than just saying, transfer to the N train.
Now let's tackle the ultimate map challenge, multimodal transfers. Emily, you're trying to get from Charles de Gaulle Airport to the Eiffel Tower in Paris. This involves trains, metros, and possibly buses.
I'm at CDG Airport, and I need to get to the Eiffel Tower. I see signs for RER trains, but I'm not sure if my metro ticket works on the RER, or if I need a different ticket entirely.
Good question. The airport requires a special zone ticket. You'll take the RERB to Châtelet-Les Halles, then transfer to the Metro Line 6 toward Bir Hakeim for the Eiffel Tower.
Do I need separate tickets for the RER and the Metro, or is there a combined ticket that covers both parts of the journey?
You can buy a single ticket that covers the entire journey from CDG to any metro station in central Paris. It's more expensive than a regular metro ticket but saves you from buying separate tickets.
How do I know which RER platform to use? And once I'm at Châtelet, How do I find the Metro Line 6 platform in such a huge station?
Look for RERB signs pointing toward Paris Center. At Châtelet, follow signs for correspondence, and then Line 6 Direction Nation. The station has color-coded signs to help guide you.
What if I get completely lost in Châtelet? I've heard it's like an underground maze with dozens of different exits and platforms.
Châtelet is intimidating, but there are information desks and lots of staff in uniforms. Don't be afraid to ask, "Où est la ligne 6?" Even basic French helps, but many staff speak some English.
And if I miss the connection? How frequently do the trains run? And is there a backup route to the Eiffel Tower?
Metro trains run every 3 to 7 minutes during the day. If you miss one, the next isn't far behind. Alternative routes exist, but this rear B to Line 6 combination is the most direct.
You've been incredibly helpful. This seems much more manageable now that I understand the connections.
Multimodal journeys are where transit navigation becomes an art form. You're dealing with different systems, different ticketing, different announcement styles, all while managing luggage and jet lag.
But notice how breaking complex journeys into segments makes them manageable? CDG to Châtelet is segment 1. Châtelet to Bir Hakeim is segment 2. Tackle them one at a time.
Before we move on to platform etiquette, let me ask our listeners, what's your biggest fear about transfers and connections? Is it missing your connection, getting lost in complex stations, or not understanding which platform to use?
Whatever your concern, remember that millions of people navigate these systems daily. If they can do it, so can you. Confidence comes from preparation and practice.
Now that we've mastered tickets and maps, let's talk about something equally important but often overlooked: platform behavior, cultural etiquette, and staying safe while navigating transit systems.
This is where cultural awareness becomes crucial. What's polite behavior in Tokyo might be considered rude in New York, and what's normal in London might seem strange in Sao Paulo.
Let's start with platform waiting etiquette. In most Asian cities, people form orderly queues beside the doors before trains arrive. Everyone waits for passengers to exit before boarding.
Compare that to New York, where people crowd around the doors, and boarding becomes more of a competitive sport. Not rude, just a different cultural approach to efficiency.
Let's role-play some platform scenarios. Brian, you're in Tokyo during rush hour, and I'm a foreign visitor who accidentally cuts in front of the queue.
Excuse me, there's actually a line forming behind those yellow markers on the platform. We wait there for the train to arrive and passengers to exit first.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize there was a specific system. Should I go to the back of the line now, or wait for the next train?
No need to wait for the next train. Just join the end of the queue. During rush hour, trains come every 2 minutes, so even if this one is full, the next one will have space.
Are there other etiquette rules I should know about? I don't want to accidentally offend anyone else.
Keep your voice down on the train, turn off phone sounds, and don't eat strong-smelling food. Also, priority seats near the doors are reserved for elderly, pregnant, or disabled passengers.
What about backpacks and luggage? I have a large backpack, and I'm worried about hitting people or taking up too much space.
Take your backpack off and hold it in front of you or place it on the floor between your feet. This prevents accidentally bumping people and shows consideration for other passengers.
Thank you for being so patient and helpful. I really appreciate the guidance.
That interaction shows something beautiful about transit culture. Most people are willing to help visitors who show respect and genuine interest in following local customs.
Now let's contrast that with a New York scenario. Emily, you're a seasoned subway user, and I'm a tourist struggling with a large suitcase during evening rush hour.
Hey, need some help with that suitcase? Rush hour with luggage is brutal. You might want to wait a few minutes for the crowd to thin out, or try the end cars where there's more space.
That's really kind, thank you. I didn't realize the end cars would be less crowded. Is there anything else I should know about subway etiquette during rush hour?
Move to the center of the car, don't block the doors, and if you're getting off at a popular stop, position yourself near the doors a stop before. Oh, and don't take up a seat with your luggage.
What about asking people to move? If someone's blocking my path to the exit, is it okay to ask them to step aside?
Absolutely. Just say, "Excuse me," clearly, and people will move. If someone's wearing headphones, a gentle tap on the shoulder is acceptable. Most people are helpful if you're polite.
And if I'm lost or confused about which stop to get off at, is it okay to ask fellow passengers, or should I just figure it out myself?
Ask away. New Yorkers get a bad reputation, but most people will help with directions if you're respectful. Just pick someone who doesn't look rushed or stressed.
You've made this seem much less intimidating. I was worried about making cultural mistakes and annoying people.
Notice the difference in communication style? New York directness versus Tokyo subtlety, but the underlying helpfulness is universal. Most people understand that navigation confusion is temporary.
Now let's tackle safety considerations. Different cities have different safety challenges, and being aware without being paranoid is a crucial skill for confident travel.
Let's practice a safety scenario. Emily, you're on the London Underground late at night, and you notice someone acting aggressively toward other passengers. How do you handle this situation?
I would avoid direct confrontation, but look for the emergency alarm button or intercom to contact the driver. I'd also position myself near other passengers rather than isolating myself.
Good thinking. And if you need to report something, what phrases would you use to communicate clearly with the driver or transport police?
I'd say something like, "There's a passenger causing a disturbance in car number 3, or "Someone is acting aggressively toward other passengers." Clear and specific information helps them respond appropriately.
Excellent. Now, let's discuss personal safety strategies. What about situations where you feel uncomfortable but nothing technically illegal is happening?
Trust your instincts. Change cars at the next stop, move to a more crowded area of the train, or get off early and catch the next train. Personal safety is more important than convenience.
And what about protecting your belongings? Pickpocketing and theft can be concerns in crowded transit systems. What practical advice would you give?
Keep bags in front of you, don't flash expensive electronics, and be extra vigilant during boarding and exiting when people are pressed together. Zipped pockets are better than open ones.
Let's practice reporting a theft. Brian, you've just realized your wallet is missing from your back pocket and you want to report it to a station attendant.
Excuse me, I need to report a theft. My wallet was stolen from my back pocket sometime in the last 20 minutes. I was on the northbound Central Line from Oxford Circus to Tottenham Court Road.
I'm sorry to hear that. I'll call the British Transport Police immediately. Can you provide more details? What time did you board? And did you notice anyone acting suspiciously?
I boarded around 3:30 p.m. The train was very crowded, and there was a lot of pushing during rush hour. I didn't notice anything specific until I realized my wallet was gone.
Do you have any identification with you? And have you contacted your bank to cancel any credit cards that were in the wallet?
I have my passport in my hotel room, but my driver's license was in the wallet. I haven't called the bank yet. Should I do that now or wait until after filing the police report?
Call the bank immediately to prevent unauthorized use. I'll give you the crime reference number for your insurance claims. The police will want to interview you shortly.
Thank you for your help. This is really stressful, but you've made the process much clearer.
Theft scenarios are unfortunate, but knowing how to report them properly can make recovery easier. Notice the specific details requested: time, location, circumstances. This helps authorities investigate effectively.
Let's end this section with a positive safety scenario. Emily, you're feeling unwell on a busy train and you need assistance. How do you seek help appropriately?
Excuse me, I'm feeling very dizzy and unwell. Could someone please help me contact the driver or find a staff member? I think I need medical assistance.
Of course. Here, sit down. I'll use the passenger alarm to contact the driver. Are you having any chest pain or difficulty breathing? The driver might need those details for emergency services.
No chest pain, just dizziness and nausea. I think I might have food poisoning from lunch. I just need to get off at the next station.
The driver says we're approaching Bond Street in 2 minutes. There's a station office there where staff can help you. Do you have someone to call, or do you need assistance contacting anyone?
I can call my hotel once I'm off the train. Thank you so much for helping me. I was worried about being ignored or misunderstood.
Medical emergencies bring out the best in people. Notice how the passenger took charge, used appropriate communication channels, and gathered relevant information for emergency services?
And Emily was clear about her symptoms and needs without being overly dramatic. "I'm feeling dizzy and unwell" is much more effective than vague statements like, "I feel terrible."
Before we move on to problem solving, let me ask our listeners, what safety concerns worry you most about using public transit in a foreign country? Language barriers during emergencies? Understanding emergency procedures? Or something else entirely?
Whatever your concerns, Remember that transit systems are designed with safety in mind. Emergency communication systems, staff training, and passenger assistance are universal priorities.
Now, let's dive into every traveler's nightmare scenario. Things going wrong, delays, strikes, service changes, missed connections, and those moments when you're completely and utterly lost.
Murphy's Law of Public Transit. If something can go wrong, it will go wrong at the most inconvenient possible moment, usually when you're already running late for something important.
But here's the thing about transit problems. They're predictable in their unpredictability. Systems have protocols, alternatives, and usually multiple ways to get from point A to point B.
Let's start with the most common problem: service delays. Brian, you're stuck on a London tube train that's been sitting motionless for 15 minutes with no announcements.
Excuse me, do you know why we've been stopped here for so long? I have a flight to catch, and I'm getting really worried about missing it.
There was an announcement about signal problems earlier. These delays can last anywhere from a few minutes to an hour. For airport connections, you might want to consider alternative transport.
What are my options if I get off here? Is there a bus route to Heathrow, or should I try to find a taxi? I'm not familiar with this area.
From this station, the Piccadilly line also goes to Heathrow, but it might have the same signal problems. A taxi would be expensive, but guaranteed. There's also the Heathrow Express from Paddington.
How do I get to Paddington from here if I decide to take the express, and how much extra time should I allow for these alternative routes?
Take the Circle or District line to Paddington. Allow at least an extra hour for any alternative route during disruptions. The Heathrow Express takes 15 minutes once you're on it.
Should I check if my airline has a mobile app for real-time flight information? I want to know if my flight is also delayed before I panic completely.
Absolutely. And Heathrow's website shows security wait times and terminal information. Sometimes delays work in your favor if the flight is also running late.
You've helped me think through this logically instead of just panicking. Thank you for the practical advice.
That conversation demonstrates crucial problem-solving skills: gathering information, evaluating alternatives, calculating time buffers, and staying flexible rather than rigidly sticking to the original plan.
Now let's tackle a different problem: strike action. Emily, you've arrived at Gare du Nord in Paris to discover that metro workers are on strike and only limited services are running.
Excuse me, I don't understand these strike announcements. Are any metro lines still running, or is the entire system shut down? I need to get to Montmartre.
It's a partial strike. Lines 1, 4, and 14 are running limited service. For Montmartre, you could take line 4 to Châtelet, then try to catch a bus or walk part of the way.
How do I find out which buses are still running? Are there information boards showing alternative routes during strikes?
Check the RATP app or website for real-time service updates. Bus services usually continue during metro strikes, but they'll be overcrowded. Tourist buses might also be an option for major attractions.
What about alternative transport like bike sharing or electric scooters? Are these affected by transit strikes, or do they operate independently?
Velib bikes and e-scooters operate normally during strikes, but demand is much higher. Download the apps now and locate stations near your route. Walking might actually be faster for short distances.
Should I adjust my entire day's itinerary, or try to stick to my planned schedule and just allow extra time for each journey?
I'd recommend clustering activities by location and being flexible with timing. Strike days are perfect for exploring neighborhoods on foot rather than trying to cover the entire city.
You've turned a potential disaster into an adventure opportunity. That's exactly the mindset shift that makes travel disruptions manageable.
Strike situations teach valuable lessons about adaptability and resource management. Instead of fighting the system, work with the available alternatives.
Now, let's practice the ultimate nightmare: getting completely lost. Brian, you're somewhere in the Berlin U-Bahn system. You got off at the wrong station, and nothing looks familiar.
I have no idea where I am. I was trying to get to Alexanderplatz, but I think I took the wrong train and ended up somewhere completely different. Can you help me figure out how to get back on track?
First, don't panic. What station are you at right now? Look for station name signs on the platform or walls. That's our starting point for getting you reoriented.
The signs say Warschauer Strasse. I have no idea if that's close to where I need to be or if I'm completely in the wrong part of the city.
Warschauer Strasse is in East Berlin. and Alexanderplatz is in the city center. You're not too far off. Look for the U1 line toward Uhlenstrasse. Take that to Hallesches Tor, then transfer to U6 toward Alt-Tegel.
That sounds complicated. How many stops is it total, and how will I know when to transfer? I'm worried about getting lost again.
It's about 6 stops on U1, then 4 stops on U6. Set a timer on your phone, count the stations, and listen for announcements. Write down Hallesches Tor and show it to other passengers if you're unsure.
What if I make another mistake? Should I have a backup plan, or just try this route and see what happens?
Download a transit app like Citymapper or Google Maps if you haven't already. They work offline and can help you navigate even if you get confused again. Technology is your friend here.
Should I ask someone at the information desk, or are fellow passengers usually more helpful for getting directions?
Both are good options. Information desks have maps and can write directions for you. Passengers can give real-time advice about delays or alternative routes. Use both resources.
Thank you for breaking this down step by step. You've made it seem much less overwhelming.
Getting lost teaches valuable navigation and communication skills. Notice how we established current location first, then planned step-by-step routing with multiple checkpoints?
And we discussed backup strategies and technology resources. Being lost isn't permanent. It's just a temporary navigation challenge that can be solved systematically.
Let's practice one more emergency scenario. Emily, your phone has died, you have no map, and you need to get to the airport for an international flight. Old school problem-solving time.
This is a disaster. My phone died, and I don't have a paper map. I know I need to get to JFK Airport, but I have no idea which trains or buses to take. Can you help me?
Take a deep breath. Every subway station has maps on the walls. Look for the airport symbols on the map and trace the route. JFK is served by the E train to Jamaica, then the air train.
How do I remember these directions without being able to write them down or take a photo? And what if I forget which train to take at Jamaica?
Ask station staff for a paper map, or write the directions on your hand or a piece of paper. At Jamaica, look for AirTrain JFK signs everywhere. You can't miss them.
What if I can't find station staff, or they don't speak English well enough to help me? Should I ask other passengers, or try to figure it out myself?
Ask multiple passengers. Someone will speak English and know the route. Airport connections are common questions, so most locals can help. Don't be shy about asking for help.
Should I allow extra time for this journey since I don't have technology to track delays or alternative routes?
Absolutely. Double your normal travel time allowance when you're navigating without digital assistance. Better to be early at the airport than miss your flight.
You've shown me that even worst-case scenarios have solutions. I was starting to panic, but now I have a concrete plan.
Technology failures remind us that people survived and navigated cities for decades before smartphones. Basic communication skills and human resourcefulness are still incredibly powerful tools.
Before we move on to our grammar workshop, let me ask our listeners, what transit disaster scenario keeps you awake at night? Missing connections? Getting lost? Technology failures? Or something else entirely?
Whatever your worst fear, remember that every problem has multiple solutions. Flexibility, resourcefulness, and willingness to ask for help can overcome almost any transit challenge.
Now let's shift gears completely. It's time for our comprehensive grammar and phrase workshop. We'll practice all those essential expressions that turn nervous tourists into confident commuters.
This is where we consolidate everything we've learned into practical, memorable phrases that you can use immediately. We'll focus on the most common situations and most useful expressions.
Let's start with basic direction requests. Emily, I'll give you situations, and you respond with the most natural, effective way to ask for help.
You're at a ticket machine and need help choosing the right ticket.
Excuse me, could you help me with this machine? I'm trying to get to the city center, but I'm not sure which ticket I need.
Perfect. Now you're looking for a specific platform but can't read the signs clearly.
Excuse me, I'm looking for the platform for trains to Westminster. Could you point me in the right direction?
Excellent. Now you're on a train but unsure if you're going the right way.
Excuse me, does this train go to Central Station? I want to make sure I'm on the right line.
Great. Notice how each question is specific and polite. Now, let's practice responses. Brian, I'll ask you questions, and you give helpful, clear answers.
How do I get to the airport from here?
Take the blue line toward the east for 4 stops to Central Station. Then transfer to the express train directly to the airport. The whole journey takes about 40 minutes.
Is this the right train for downtown?
Yes, this train goes straight to the downtown area. You'll want to get off at City Hall Station in about 6 stops. I'll let you know when we're getting close.
How much does a day pass cost?
A day pass costs $12 and covers all buses and trains within the city limits. If you're making more than 4 trips today, it'll save you money compared to individual tickets.
Notice how helpful answers include specific details, time estimates, and practical advice. Now let's practice emergency and problem phrases.
Emily, how would you report that you've lost your wallet on a train?
I need to report a lost wallet. I think I dropped it on the northbound train around 10 minutes ago. Is there a lost property office where I can check?
Good. How would you ask for help if you're feeling unwell on a crowded train?
Excuse me, I'm not feeling well. Could someone please help me contact the driver? I think I need to get off at the next station.
Perfect. How about explaining to a ticket inspector that the machine took your money but didn't give you a ticket?
The ticket machine malfunctioned. It took my $20 but didn't issue a ticket. I have the receipt showing the transaction. Can you help me resolve this?
Excellent. Now let's practice polite way to interrupt conversations or get someone's attention when you need urgent help.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm really lost, and my train leaves in 15 minutes. Could you quickly point me toward the right platform?
That's perfect. You acknowledged the interruption, explained the urgency, and made a specific request. Now let's work on vocabulary consolidation.
I'll say a transit situation, and Brian, you respond with all the relevant vocabulary words for that scenario.
You're buying tickets at a train station.
Ticket machine, single journey, day pass, weekly pass, zones, fare, exact change, contactless payment, receipt, validation, top-up, refund.
You're navigating a complex subway system.
Map, route, line, platform, track, express, locale, transfer, interchange, connection, terminal, northbound, southbound, direction, final destination.
You're on a crowded train during rush hour.
Carriage, compartment, doors, priority seating, standing room, crowded, boarding, alighting, excuse me, move down, step aside, rush hour, peak time.
Fantastic. Now let's practice pronunciation of tricky transit words. Emily, repeat after me with clear, confident pronunciation.
Interchange.
I enter change.
Platform.
Platform.
Validation.
Validation.
Destination.
Destination.
Now let's practice linking these words into natural phrases. Brian, create complete sentences using the vocabulary we've practiced.
I need to validate my ticket before boarding the express train to my final destination.
The interchange platform for northbound trains is on the upper level of the station.
During rush hour, please move to the center of the carriage to allow more passengers to board.
Perfect. Now let's practice intonation patterns. Questions versus statements have very different melodies in English.
Listen to the difference. Statement. This train goes to the airport. Question. Does this train go to the airport?
Emily, practice these question patterns with rising intonation.
Is this the right platform?
How much does a ticket cost?
Where do I transfer for the airport line?
Which train goes to downtown?
Excellent pronunciation. Now let's work on stress patterns in longer phrases. The most important word gets the strongest stress.
I'm looking for the blue line platform. Excuse me, does this train go to Westminster? The next train arrives in 5 minutes.
Perfect. Word stress helps listeners understand your most important information, especially in noisy transit environments.
Let's finish our workshop with a rapid-fire practice session. I'll give you situations, and Brian responds with the first natural phrase that comes to mind.
You want to buy a ticket, but the machine is broken.
Excuse me, the ticket machine isn't working. Is there another way to buy tickets?
You're not sure if you're on the right train.
Does this train go to Central Station?
You need to get off, but people are blocking the doors.
Excuse me, this is my stop. Could you let me through, please?
You want to know how many stops until your destination.
How many more stops to downtown?
Brilliant. Those instant responses show that the phrases are becoming automatic. That's exactly what you want for confident communication.
Before we wrap up with our success stories, let me ask our listeners to practice this workshop format. Pick a transit situation and practice both asking for help and giving help to others.
The more you practice these phrases in low-pressure situations, the more naturally they'll come to you when you're actually standing in a foreign train station feeling confused.
Now for our favorite part of every episode. Success stories, inspiration, and that moment when everything we've discussed today creates a breakthrough for our listeners.
Brian, remember that email from Sarah in Colombia? She wrote about her first solo trip to London and how she went from terrified tourist to confident navigator in just 1 week.
Oh, that was incredible. She said she spent her first day getting lost 3 times because she was too embarrassed to ask for help. But by day 7, she was giving directions to other tourists.
What I loved about her story was the mindset shift. She realized that getting lost wasn't a failure. It was just information. Wrong train means try a different train. Simple as that.
And remember when she helped that elderly man who was struggling with his Oyster card? That moment when you realize you've gone from confused newcomer to helpful local is so empowering.
Then there's Marcus from Germany, who wrote about tackling the New York subway. He said our pronunciation tips helped him understand announcements that previously sounded like gibberish.
His breakthrough moment was realizing that "stand clear of the closing doors" wasn't some mysterious American phrase. Once he understood the pattern, all announcements became clearer.
And what about Kenji from Japan? His story about using the Paris metro during a transport strike showed incredible problem-solving and language confidence.
He turned a potential disaster into a cultural adventure. Instead of panicking about the strike, he used it as an opportunity to practice his French and explore neighborhoods he'd never planned to visit.
That's exactly the mindset that transforms travel anxiety into travel confidence. Flexibility, curiosity, and willingness to see problems as adventures rather than disasters.
But my favorite story has to be Anna from Brazil. She wrote about her first time using the Tokyo train system during rush hour. The cultural learning experience was as valuable as the language practice.
She said watching the orderly queuing and silent commuting taught her as much about Japanese culture as any guidebook. And when she accidentally spoke too loudly, other passengers' gentle corrections helped her adjust.
What's beautiful about these stories is how they show public transport as cultural immersion. You're not just getting from point A to point B. You're learning how a society functions.
Now let me share something personal. This entire episode was inspired by my own transport disasters and breakthroughs. That story about getting lost in Tokyo Station? Completely true.
I remember standing there, surrounded by millions of people, feeling completely invisible and helpless. But then a businesswoman noticed my confusion and spent 10 minutes drawing me a map on her phone.
That interaction changed everything. Not just my navigation skills, but my entire relationship with asking for help. I realized that most people want to help. They're just waiting for you to ask.
And Brian's circle story about the London Underground? I was there. We spent an entire afternoon going in circles because he was too proud to admit he was confused about East and West.
Hey, it was a learning experience. And now I always check the compass on my phone before boarding any train anywhere in the world. Embarrassment becomes education if you let it.
That's exactly the point. Every transport mistake, every wrong turn, every missed connection teaches you something valuable for the next journey.
So let's recap what we've learned today. Ticket systems might be different, but the basic principles are universal. Ask questions, be specific, keep receipts, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Maps are simplified diagrams, not geographic reality. Learn to read the connections, understand express versus local services, and always have a backup route in mind.
Platform etiquette varies by culture, but consideration for others is universal. Priority seating, queue systems, noise levels, and boarding procedures all contribute to smoother journeys.
When problems arise, stay calm, gather information, consider alternatives, and remember that every problem has multiple solutions. Flexibility beats rigid planning every time.
And most importantly, practice the essential phrases until they become automatic. The grammar and vocabulary we covered today work in transit systems worldwide.
Before we sign off, let me ask our listeners something. What's your next transit challenge? Are you planning a trip that involves complex metro systems, international connections, multimodal journeys?
Whatever your challenge, you're now equipped with the language skills, cultural awareness, and problem-solving strategies to handle it confidently. Transit navigation is a superpower that opens up entire cities.
Next week, we're diving into another crucial travel skill: airport navigation and air travel English. From check-in to baggage claim, we'll cover everything you need for stress-free flying.
We'll role-play security procedures, practice duty-free shopping conversations, and prepare you for those moments when flights get delayed or canceled. International air travel confidence coming right up.
Until then, practice what we've learned today. Find a local transit system and challenge yourself to navigate it using only English. Ask questions, offer help to others, and embrace the learning process.
Send us your success stories, your funny mistakes, and your breakthrough moments. We love hearing how these skills transform your travel experiences.
This has been Emily and Brian from English Podcast for Listening and Speaking. Until next week, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember that every journey teaches you something new.